From humble beginning.
The growth is evolving.
And the arrival. This is First GenXers.
Poetic beat. I'm on mute, so y'all are just seeing my mouth move. Y'all are not listening to me speak. That may be a blessing in disguise, though. I don't know. But I am the one and only Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double, from shows that you might remember as Mad Mondays, KD5P, right here, and the classroom. And I am joined, as always, by
Oh, me?
Well, I
no.
I get to be on the
Let's go.
I get to
Let's
be on
go.
the I get to be on the left this
Yep.
time. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
There you go.
But
Okay.
not. Never mind. Fuck all that. My name is Agent K28, aka the Saint. I am the host of Now versus Then Deuce or NBT Deuce, and I'm here for the shenanigans. What the hell?
Yep. Yep.
Be
Yep.
right back. Be right back.
And below me is the one and only.
I am Dave, aka RuneScrider, host of The Night Shift. Sometimes, sometimes participate in Retro Saturday, but I gotta get stuff stabilized in my life, and part of that is getting my sleep stabilized so that I can actually wake up and do stuff. But
Uh,
hey, I'm here,
there you go.
so points for me.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And Agent K28 will be back a little bit later. So be sure to stay tuned in if you're tuning in for him because he will be back. All right. So, first subject up, sir. First subject up is the one, the only, the mastermind, the man who brought us Goodwill Hunting and is humble enough to make fun of himself in multiple Kevin Smith movies, including the greatest movie ever made, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Ben Affleck is hoping to play Hulk Hogan in a biopic about his life. Now, first and foremost, if this biopic is not called I Am a Real American, I'm not going to see it, period. But at the end of the day, I believe somebody commented on your original post on the First Gen Xers Facebook page that Affleck is just way too small. Now, here, or could
yeah.
not bulk up. Now,
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
state
me.
before I let you take over, I'm going to state that I disagree with this only because of how thick he got for the Batman role, which was way over thick. But like he got pretty muscular for the Batman role. So I could see him getting up there and maybe playing a young Terry Bolla, but he's going to be hard to even come close to looking like Hulk by the time he got to his WWF days. But I digress.
Okay, so first of all, just a quick correction. This isn't going to be a biopic about Hulk Hogan's life. This is a biopic specifically about Hulk Hogan versus Gawker Media
Okay.
over the sex tape.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking about post-career Hulk.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Okay,
going.
okay, and more to the point, okay, he can look buff.
Yeah.
Okay, Batman and the Hollywoodland, which was the George Reeves biopic.
Okay.
Okay, he's in padded suits in both of those.
Okay.
Okay, it's different when you're wearing like it's kind of hard to get that bulky frame if you don't already have it,
Right. Right.
especially in regular clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the reasons why Vincent D'Onofrio worked as Kingpin so well, he's already kind of got that frame.
Right.
Okay, Ben Affleck doesn't have it. Okay,
I
but
understand. Yeah.
yeah, but more to the point, there is only one choice of an actor to play Hulk Hogan
Okay.
versus Gawker Media. I am talking about the one, the only Jesse Ventura.
I.
If you're going to do it, go for maximum trollage,
It
and
would definitely.
he would do it for scale.
It would definitely be maximum trollage, but I think like you'd have to be similar to the casting director for the Hulu series Clipped about Donald Sterling. You have to not care about the person
Right.
actually looking like the character that they're portraying.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
but
yeah, because like Jesse Ventura looks too much like Jesse Ventura to be playing Hulk Hogan. Like,
I,
I get what you're
I
saying
know,
though.
I know though, but come on.
I definitely would love to see it happen. Like, it would be funny to happen.
just just the chance to poke holes in Hogan, Ventura will be all the fuck in
Uh,
on this.
Little story about Jesse Ventura that not too many people know. Part of his main issue and why he ended up leaving WWE or WWF at the time was because he actually tried to unionize the wrestlers. I believe it was like '88 or
Yep,
'89. He tried to do it, and Vince caught wind of it, and like Jesse's time there was limited from that moment
yeah,
on.
yeah. He
But
pulled, yeah, he apparently he pulled Jesse aside, up to the C-suite
yeah,
and told him to his face, "You ever try organizing a shop in my promotion ever again, you won't be in any ring, not just mine, any ring in the world."
and it's a good thing for Vince he's out of the business now because
Yeah,
if like and he did it in such a subtle way because like that's illegal. Like that's called union busting and that is illegal. Like
yep,
like you cannot in as a parent company you cannot in any way um tell people that they cannot form a union. Like
right,
you can't get on them and be like, no, no. You can't even try to convince them not to. You have to let them
right.
do it, and if the workers
And
want it. I also
and to
work for
finish,
another. Go ahead.
yeah, and to finish the story, the reason Vince knew about the attempts to unionize was because the Hulkster squealed.
Yeah,
The Hulkster narked Jesse out.
which is part of the reason why Jesse Ventura will never, ever, ever like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
100%. Because Hulk. Here's the thing about it. Here's how much of an asshole Hulk Hogan is. Sorry, like if anybody likes Hulk, like I used to like Hulk as a kid too. But here's how much of an ass Hulk really didn't want to stop the union because he didn't think unions were good. He didn't want to stop the union because he was making more money than the rest of the boys already, and he didn't want to that up.
yeah,
He was making significantly more than the rest of the boys already, and he didn't want to that up. Which, to an extent, I don't blame him. But think how
yeah,
much
exactly.
different the world would have been, the wrestling world would have been had Jesse Ventura been successful in
Right.
unionizing wrestlers back then.
Because Ventura wasn't going after just the WWE talent.
No.
He was reaching out to WCW. He was reaching out to the indie promotions
Yep.
in there. He was trying to legitimately create a union for the entire wrestling industry.
Yep. The biggest union buster that exists out there is this is people's inability to literally learn how to work together. That's the
Yep.
biggest union buster amongst companies, rich men, billionaires. The biggest union buster out there is literally just people's inability to work together for a common goal. Like
Yep.
like that well, don't get me started about the rest of the world, but in unions in general. But anyway, we've digressed from that topic for
Yeah.
long enough. But yes, Affleck is Hulk Hogan. I don't know. Like I don't think it's gonna be something where this is gonna like I think this is gonna be one of those things where Affleck does it and nobody cares because the movie really doesn't go anywhere. This isn't the
Yep.
wrestler. He's not Mickey Rourke. He's not gonna win an Oscar for playing Hulk Hogan in his biopic about his sex tape. So, love you, Ben Affleck, but you could do better roles. You could probably do
Yep.
better roles in a Kevin Smith movie, bro. Like,
Yep.
and that's not putting down Kevin Smith. I'm just saying in general. Like,
Yeah.
anyway, any thoughts to drop before we move on this about Affleck playing Hulk Hogan there, Saint?
No, I mean, hey, look, he's just, I'm not gonna sit up here and say he's not another B class actor, okay? Because I mean, let's face it, he played George Reeves
Yeah.
in Superman,
Hmm.
and or he played. I'm sorry, yeah, he did play George Reeves, okay. In terms of it being controversial, especially with Hulk Hogan being in the news lately, as it were, and I'm just not. I'm just like I'm not really that gonna be that invested
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. Now, it's not to say that Ben Affleck couldn't
Yeah.
be in the movie. I think I don't think he'd make a great Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I think he would be fantastic as Peter Thiel,
I can see that. I can
the
see that
ultimate motivator behind the lawsuit against Gawker.
for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Ben Affleck, do what you got to do, brother. I respect you as an actor because you have shown me that you're an amazing actor, but
Oh,
I just don't think this is the role for you. All right, so guys, let's talk about one more thing right quick before we jump into pop culture corner, and that is it's a sad day, man. It's a sad, sad day. People, look, I have signed up for easily over 250 GameStop accounts. Pay for it for a few months, forget about it. don't pay for it for a while. Need to go back to GameStop for something. Pay to renew it. I've renewed my same. I think the same one I've had since like early 2000, like at least 15, 150, 250 times. Anyway, we've received sad news today as we've been received news that the Game Informer magazine, the magazine that you got a 12-month subscription to whenever you signed up for your GameStop membership, is now closing its doors. Will be no more.
yeah.
Boo! Game Informer was my that was my spot. That was my reliable news source for gaming news, and
Yeah.
they will be no more. I have stacks of, like, literally, I have hundreds of copies of Game Informer in my storage right now in a tubby that I kept and that I had. Like, I want to say like 3 straight years worth of, like, plus years of things. So you guys' thoughts on Game Informer closing its doors?
Uh, Dave, you wanna try?
um, I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was never particularly as invested in Game Informer. I know that a lot of people were. I recognize what it was. Same with Nintendo Power. Okay.
Hmm.
Major, major gaming publications. But
Love me some Nintendo
two,
Power too.
yeah, two things. Okay. First, The world is not the same as it was back in 2000.
I know print media ain't a thing no more. I
It's not
know.
just it's not just the print media issue. It's the fact that where you used to be able have to go to one or two different publications to get information about something months after, it became a thing, you can go to any of a dozen websites now and get up to the minute, true or not, information about whatever game you're jonesing about coming out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so it's got that immediate effect
Yeah.
that has never been able to be addressed by Game Informer or any magazine. Two, it's not because the market for it is dying out. It's because the people in charge of GameStop, the CEOs, they don't want to cut into their salary to keep this going.
Right.
That's the real truth as to why it's ending.
Well,
Okay.
that's most corporate places. The guy, if they can
Ex-
cut a department
That's
and keep their
that's
money.
every
Yeah.
corporate place. Okay. I mean, side note. I mean, Kev, you heard that Chevron's pulling out of California and moving to Texas, right?
Good. They're the most
Okay. Yeah.
expensive. They're the most expensive gas in California. So yeah,
Well, more
go.
more more than more than that,
I'm
Richmond will be
sorry.
exploding every
I'm
10
I'm
years.
sorry. I'm sorry. I disagree with that entirely, sir, and especially considering how much I was driving in California during those years. Shell, yeah,
Yeah.
and
No.
yeah, Shell to me was
Sh-
more expensive
yeah.
to me
I guess
But
than fucking
but
Chevron.
Shell was bought
Keep it
by
a buck.
Chevron.
was that. Well, no.
Yeah.
I'm keeping
Yeah.
it a buck in the Sacramento
Yeah.
area. So when I'm driving around, Shell or Chevron is almost or Chevron or Shell is almost
Okay.
always the most expensive gas out there. The little no-name spots are
And
normally some of the cheapest ones, but Chevron and Shell, are, which is why I consistently go to Arco because Arco is almost always the cheapest between those three. Like 97% of the time, Arco is the cheapest. But anyway,
and
Yeah,
once
let me
and
let
once
me let me
again, once again, I successfully derailed the conversation.
it's
So,
all
Yeah,
good.
let me just say this about this GameStop and this fucking Game Informer. Okay. So over the past year or two, I occasionally have had to shop at GameStop because usually my craving for my independent stores in California are very, very decent. That's who I used to shop with, but unfortunately Connecticut does have shortcomings, but there is going to be a um there's going to be a retro con jumping off in the next couple of weeks. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that. But in terms of the magazines and the print, you know what? Nintendo Power was decent. Um, Game Informer was getting good. The only thing I hate the fan letters and all the whoop, 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 and the rumors sometimes were far out fetched. No, for me, the creme of the creme of gaming magazines was EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly,
Yeah.
because there was always bonuses. And then, of course, back in the day, we had the fucking the other one, which always had a which always had a disc or always had a sampler of the games, and everybody, especially when Metal Gear first came out, the first Metal Gear demo that came out on that sample disc, okay, everybody was stealing those games, okay, trying to steal the magazine just so they could get their hands on that demo. And that was
yeah,
probably the more exciting times back then, but nah, bro. Print magazines, I mean, don't get me wrong. it's still, it would still be a good thing, but there's too many sites with all the fuckery going on and so forth.
For sure, for sure.
Okay,
It's not working.
I'm going all the way back to Enter magazine. Okay, where you didn't get a disc with that, but you got program codes, so you could program your own game on your PC.
A lot of people forget that that's where we started out at. We used to have to.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
what's funny is that technically, okay, hold on, real quick, real nice shout out to Roxy Hart 82 and Miss Murr for joining us here in the chat room. Shout out to both of y'all. Thanks for tapping in. I want to say,
Yep.
but it's like, you know what? Let's go on ahead and jump into my favorite part before I bring up this next subject. So we are going to jump into the first segment of the show, which is also known as Pop Culture Corner. That's right, we talk Marvel, DC, and much, much more right here on Cheap Pop. All right, so I've been begging for a live action Robotech movie for a long time. I don't think this is going to happen. As I approach my 50th birthday here, I don't think this is going to happen. But thanks to RuneScribe, I found out that one of my other dreams may be able to step up and take its place. And that is that Amazon, Jeff Bezos, you bald, beautiful bastard, is in preparation to give us a live action Voltron movie. Now, there's not a lot of details out about this, but all I know is that if it happens, please don't make it cheesy. We have the computer power to give us the proper special effects. And if you don't give me the goddamn lions first, I'm going to be pissed. But,
I
gentlemen,
mean,
your thoughts on the live action Voltron movie? Kicking off with Dave.
I'm vehicle force for life. I'm just going to say it straight out.
Okay.
Okay, but even I agree. Do line force first. That is what people think of when they hear the name Voltron. Like it or not, that's it.
Yep.
Okay, so do that. But I had better get my goddamn vehicle force. Even just
That's
one season of it. Okay, and you know, forget about Gladiator Voltron. Everyone else has.
yeah.
So that is what it is right there.
Yep. That
So
is Saint. Your thoughts?
Maybe 10, maybe I'll say about maybe 10 years ago, I would have been more excited because of the simple fact there have been so many different types of reboots to the Voltron,
Fair
to the
enough.
Voltron series. My thing is this: if it's not done in the original fashion of the original 1984 series from Toho, okay, considering and I'm talking about the original Lion Force,
Yeah.
okay, not the story that came with the princess later,
Yeah.
even though I know she is added.
Go Beast
We
King,
need to, yeah, yeah,
where
we need,
where Sven dies,
yeah,
he doesn't get.
we need that.
We
Yeah,
need that.
I
We
totally.
need that.
Yeah. I
So,
would.
well, what I was gonna say is that if it's gonna be on some woke reboot extra, I'm not gonna be interested because I understand diversity works with certain properties and so forth, okay? Nothing wrong with it. But when you put too much into it, you're like, I don't know how much of a version is going to be of this version to be that version because the original version only had 10% in it. And then all of a sudden, the whole movie and whole project is fucked. So it's like, I just want to be sure there are some elements in there of originality.
Yeah. I think that the smartest move that Amazon can do is get the writer's room from Voltron Legendary Defender,
Yeah.
the Netflix animated series,
That was a very
because
well written story. I
well
liked it.
written for the first couple
Yeah, yeah,
seasons.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Quality
yeah, that
declined
I'll do.
as it went on, but they they put in a lot of mature concepts, PTSD, good intentions going wrong, all these things in there.
Very true.
They made Voltron more than just okay,
Five
transformation
robots.
sequence. Yeah, can we finally get to the blazing sword? Why aren't you whipping out the blazing sword as
Yeah.
soon as the fight starts, huh?
I also love the fact with the Netflix animated series, the fact that you didn't get a Voltron robot appearance every single episode. Like that was a thing that kind of got a little bit, and I understand it's different types of storytelling. I want people to understand that
Yeah,
before I say this. It's two different types of storytelling. With the animated series that came on when we were kids, they were trying to tell you a whole story and encapsulated it in that 15 20 minutes that they got. With the Netflix series, they were trying to tell you a more longer story that involved a lot of or that involved a few episodes where they weren't fighting anybody. They were just going on adventures and character development and stuff like that. So it's just
right.
two different types of storytelling, but I definitely prefer the more long drawn out one as opposed
Yeah,
to the everything encompassed in think GI Joe, think Transformers
yeah,
encompassed in single episode encompassed stories.
yeah.
We're going to
And and you know what I appreciated?
mm,
The fact that the costume colors finally made sense. You got Keith in the black
yeah,
uniform. You got Lance in the red uniform. Okay.
made sense. Yeah.
Everybody is coordinated properly. But beyond that, you know, I think that one of the limitations of the original Voltron wasn't just trying to make it episodic serial,
Mm,
but it was trying to convert an a Japanese series written for a Japanese audience that that embraces Japanese media tropes
yeah.
and make it accessible for the Western audience. Okay,
True.
Battle of the Planets. Okay,
Gotcha.
from Gotchaman. Do you know why they created Seven Zark Seven and they had all those little interstitial plots scenes between Seven Zark Seven doing the exposition and then talking with Mark and stuff? It was to make a full runtime because they had to cut out so many scenes of violence that would not
Oh
pass
yeah.
American censors.
Fair enough. Fair
Okay,
enough.
that's that's how much stuff had to be cut out.
Yeah.
The same effect was with Voltron. Okay, Robotech. The whole goal was to get an imported anime that had a long enough story episode count to get into syndication. That was the goal. That's why it couldn't be
Madison.
done with just Macross. Couldn't be done with Macross and Southern Cross. They had to have a third,
Madison.
which originally the third generation of Voltron was supposed to be Super Dimension Century Orgus. because all three were made by Tatsunoko. All three were part of the Super Dimension franchise, even
So
though
wait a minute.
Blade,
So hold on. So hold on. So what about okay, because I remember this specifically, and I remember that it was supposed to be the far, the near,
right,
and the middle universe.
right.
Whatever happened to the Voltron that was supposed to have the lion on his chest? That was supposed to be, and then all of a sudden, the shit disappeared. And
That, yeah,
yeah,
okay,
I need
okay.
answers. I
That,
need
okay,
answers.
that is actually an entirely different lion-based combiner mecha.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's not. Lion Force Voltron is um, Go Beast Lion King.
Right?
Okay, and the lion on the chest is like Godizer or something like that. It's a completely different franchise. So, um, and it could be that it got passed over because there were issues of extreme violence, same way that there were with Gatchaman. Um, but, and also like the example I just talked about, Orgus, it was
Yeah.
too violent, too anime trope sexualized
Yeah.
for American
Americans.
censors.
Yeah, that
So
happens a lot.
they had to bring in Genesis Climber Mospeada um, uh, for the
See,
third generation
gotcha.
Okay.
um, to round out to get to syndication.
Okay.
And World Event Productions, created Voltron, had the same problem that they needed to have a long enough episode list to get syndication. And fortunately, they were able to do that with Armored Fleet Die Rugger, aka Vehicle Force,
Yeah.
and Go Lion Beast King, aka Lion Force.
Right.
Okay.
So the fact that the series tanked before Gladiator Voltron, aka Voltron 2, because
Okay.
Lion,
I slightly remember. I
yeah,
do slightly remember seeing that
the
like over the
toys,
years. Yeah, over the years, there were a few toys out there at a
right,
couple of conventions
yeah, because
that I had
yeah,
attended. So yeah,
Yeah.
Lion Force was boxed by Matchbox as Voltron 1. Vehicle Force was boxed by Matchbox as Voltron 3.
Okay. Okay. Generation
And
three.
um, Light Lightspeed Electroid Albagus, which was supposed to be Gladiator Voltron, was labeled as Voltron 2. The problem is that they were in the middle of production of doing the translation for Albagus when Vehicle Force was being broadcast. And there was a significant drop off in viewership from Lion Force to Vehicle Force.
Okay.
right.
And they called it a day because I've watched the first two episodes of Albagus on YouTube. Toei Animation has put it up on their YouTube page. And it's a cool concept. It's just not that great in execution. I mean, when you have three robots able to combine in different forms into the giant robot, and each different combination, you got black, red, and blue. So if it's stacked black, blue, red, that's different. It has different powers and abilities than if it's stacked black, red, blue, or blue, black, red, or whatever. Great concept. The biggest problem was the ancillary characters because you literally had a Jar Jar Binks comic relief character named Goro, because this was set in a high school technical high school,
Sir.
and Goro was just completely bumbling. He had a gorilla mech that he piloted that kept stumbling, bumbling, getting in the way. So imagine you've got your Voltron fight with the Robeast, and all of a sudden, Snarf rolls up in a bot to try to help out.
Yeah.
That takes
The
you out of the
comedy wouldn't
fight
sit.
pretty. It takes you out of the fight pretty damn quick. Now, it's a Japanese thing,
Yeah.
See, you
and
see, you lost me when you see, I mean, you lost me at the moment you said Jar Jar Binks, okay? Like you just can't be, that. I mean, I was tuned to the
I do.
conversation, don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah,
mean, Jar Jar Binks, that is a name that we should not even attempt to
I do
use
not.
for
I
this
do not utter
podcast.
that. I do not utter that name or make the comparison lightly.
Hmm.
Okay, like I said, Albicus is free to watch on YouTube. The first two episodes, watch it, watch it, and I dare you to say that I'm on the fuckery about this.
All
Okay,
right. So,
I'll leave it at that.
all right. Yeah, we can leave that at there. We have one more subject we're going to touch on here in pop culture corner before we take a quick break, and that is this. I recently noticed, well, it's been for a while now, but now it's like almost fully in place, or pretty much fully in place. But the entire Hulu on demand library has been brought to Disney Plus. Um, this is one of those rare things. I'm not big on praising the streamers for the streaming apps for anything, but this particular combination I like because it gives me a lot of the shows that I like to watch all in the same place. Darkwing Duck, Thundercats, Yu-Gi-Oh, all in the same on the same app. I can watch them all, and so for me, this was something that I found to be intriguing from the aspect of what more could we see like this? Like WB owns TBS, TNT, and all that. Why haven't we seen a complete move of everything that's on the TNT app and the TBS app onto HBO Max, which I assume we eventually will. Go on, Dave.
Okay, so first of all, to your point, don't assume anything.
Yeah.
Okay, WB Discovery is run by a dude named David Zaslav, who this is the guy who vaulted the Batgirl movie. The Batgirl movie that was in the can,
Yeah.
ready to go. He vaulted that. This is the guy who has vaulted Coyote versus Acme.
Oh my goodness.
This is a guy who is happy to sacrifice already created WB content that WB owns the rights to free and clear. He wants to downplay that and bring us more reality TV.
Yeah. No more.
Listen,
Yeah, he
listen.
wants,
Let me
that's what he wants.
let's get one thing squared away. I have to deal sometimes with 90 Day Fiance. I have to deal sometimes with all of that bullshit that usually funnels through HBO Max and so forth. Okay, I get it. Life, you're living your life. Life be lifing. But come on, we don't need no more reality TV. Okay, Warner Brothers was good. My DC content, okay, whether it be bad, whether it was great, whether it was, hey, it it had its moments, okay? It has its moments, but come on, man. Who the fuck wants to deal with five different versions of 90 Day Fiance and then you do six different shows
It's
concerning like,
Mama
no,
June.
Here's the thing about
no,
it.
I'm good.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing about it. Networks like I'm trying to think Sundance or not Sundance. I'm trying to think of the other ones that are like that carry like the Hulu that are doing shows like the Kardashians and like that. The problem with it is I agree 100%. For my generation, for Gen X, for the people before Gen X, for millennials, we're over the reality TV phase. Like that, we're done with that. Like, but there is a market for it. As long as
Mhm.
there are 21 to 25-year-olds that exist on this planet, there will be a market for it. Because for some odd reason, even back then, I think about it. The Real World came out, the original Real World, which, by the way, that was a great idea. Somebody needs to go back to that, the social experiment that it was, because the original Real World was not about, it was about season 3, season 4, when it started becoming basically the way I described the show was, let's see how many college kids we can put together in a house, let's feed them all alcohol and see how many of them we can get to each other. And literally that was the basis for being on the Real World. You had to be good looking, you had to be willing to anything with a pulse, and you had to be willing to drink yourself into stupidity.
Yeah.
The first couple of seasons were not about that. The first couple of seasons were genuinely about putting people that were different from each other into the same household, and let's see how this plays out. Which is why that first season, the very, very first season in New York, will always be the best season to me. Because those
Okay.
were five, even though some of those people, like Heather, was actually a member of Boogie Down Productions. At the time in which she did the reality show, the black woman named Heather. If anybody's ever seen the first season, you'll know her because the first thing the little 19-year-old naive girl from Oklahoma asks her when she hears her beeper go off is, "Are you a drug dealer?" Like, it's one of the most infamous scenes in the original Real World. Like season 1, episode 1, right there, we're getting into that conflict and drama. But the rest of the season played out, and MTV stood back and allowed it to play out. By the time we got to season 3, we're now taking certain things and making it look this way, making it look that way, hooking up people, and everything after that has been basically flush it down the toilet, including
Right.
Jersey Shore. But when reality TV started, there was a good concept there. There truly was, at least with the Real World, there was a genuinely good concept there. But it went off the rails because sensationalism and drama sells a hell of a lot more than seven
And
people actually trying to
yeah,
work out their problems and figuring something out about how to live together.
yeah,
And
I want to pick up
yeah.
on that also too, because eventually that is what that is one of the main reasons why soap operas pretty much diminished. There, I mean, it went from like 8 on the 3 networks down to like maybe 2 that are still on, or actually, I think it's 3 that are still on. One considering, I think, is still on actual that's still on the actual networks.
Yeah,
Everything else is like NBC, like Peacock
There's
or
streamers. Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, I think CBS still holds down Young and the Restless,
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that at some point that's gonna eventually fizzle out. But maybe, because I mean it's been on 50 something years, so go figure.
Okay. So, but getting to everything, um, the reason why there is a glut of reality TV show is because to the CEOs, content is content. Doesn't matter what it is, there's going to be eyeballs for it.
Hmm.
And for the same price as a full season of a scripted drama, any show that you want, a scripted show, they can make 5 reality TV shows.
And people will line up around the corner to join. Like, that's the thing
Exactly.
about it. Like you, all you got to say is, we're having a contest for 18 people to live in this house. It's like Big Brother. It doesn't even have to be Big Brother. Just it's like Big Brother, and you'll get people lining up around the block to be a part of
Exactly. Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Like that's just where
And
we're at.
yeah, exactly. Now,
Well, some of those
last
guys are vetted though, right?
What do you mean vetted?
I'm talking about, like seriously, like, there's got to be some kind of process or some kind of process of elimination where somebody may be too,
yeah, there's a
Are you
there
there
willing to
there
may
get
be
drunk? Are you willing to
yeah.
make a fool of yourself in front of the nation? And
Do you
are you willing to have us tell whatever story we want to tell? As long as you fit
exactly,
those
that's
three
and
my point.
prescriptions, they
and
can
and do you
keep the team.
Exactly.
and do you have a criminal record?
Yeah. They don't want
Okay.
Yeah,
that
you
to come
might,
back to life.
there may be one person that'll slip in and be like,
Yeah,
oh, and
but
then you'll have the drama, and then,
Oh yeah.
it'll make good TV if somebody, gets arrested and gets thrown in the back
exactly.
of a car. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
And
But
somebody's
yeah,
crying
Be right back.
my
at a funeral.
absolute my last point on this is Dark Lord Saint. I'm about to make your day here because I just saw yesterday that not only I already knew that Disney Plus and Hulu were doing a combined package. Max is getting in on that. You're now going to get a package that has Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max.
Okay.
No, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm cool.
That would
I'm cool.
that would be a everything in one place app,
Yeah, and
and I don't think that's good because then
I
the world
think
will be
that
No,
well, yeah,
no.
but I
Sorry,
just saw the flash of
that's
it.
not
yeah.
It's like
that's not
17,
happening.
like $17 a month for all three.
That's not bad. And actually, if they do that, then it will probably be four because I know that ESPN, since Disney owns ESPN, the ESPN Plus bundle is almost always included with the Hulu and
Right.
Disney Plus bundle.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at getting all of those plus ESPN. That would literally be an all-in-one app.
Right.
Like the only other app you would need outside of that
Is Netflix.
would be Netflix.
Yeah.
Like Netflix. Well, yeah, Netflix. Sorry. After right now, you would probably need Netflix and Peacock if you're a WWE fan, because Peacock is the only place to find the library and the live pay-per-views. But
Right.
I genuinely believe Netflix didn't pay $10 billion for the rights to WWE just for Raw.
No.
It's already happening on a international basis that the entire library and pay-per-views have moved over to Netflix on the international Netflix. So I
Yeah.
would assume that the U.S. Netflix at some point is going to do the same. Eventually, we're going to see them move away from Peacock, and the whole library and pay-per-views are going to be on Netflix. So literally,
Right.
all you
Yeah,
would
and
need,
I'll stop fucking with Peacock at that point.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
the only time I actually like on some real shit, I really don't watch Peacock much unless it's WWE material.
See, I can't say the same. I watch Sunday Night Football on Peacock, and I
Well,
also watch and then I also like they have old shows that I like that aren't available anywhere else, like the George Lopez show and that '70s show that literally aren't available on
yeah.
any other app unless you
Football
go to
season
Amazon and buy it.
football season accepted.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
Except
enough.
because I know that the NBA, well, yeah, I guess there will be a sign for Peacock because from all these years, NBA is back on NBC. Like,
Well,
what?
yeah, but the NBA that is a part of a deal that took the NBA. For those of you who don't know, the NBA is now on Amazon. The NBA
Yeah,
accepted Amazon's deal and didn't accept TNT's deal. So the NBA will now like the Amazon Prime will have like something like 6 games a week that they'll be showing throughout the week on whatchamacallit. Like ESPN will still have its doubleheaders. Sunday will still be NBC, or Saturday night will still be NBC. But throughout the week, a lot of those games and those doubleheaders and tripleheaders will be seen on Amazon Prime now. That's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting change.
Yep.
All right, so let's pause it there, fellas. We'll take our commercial break as usual. Come back from the commercial break, and me and Saint are going to talk some SummerSlam. There's a lot of big news coming out of SummerSlam. It was a great show. 4 hours of fun is what I called it. For those of you who don't like WWE and say it sucked, kiss my ass. It was a great show. All right, so we'll say our goodbyes for right now. Salute to you all. Thanks to everybody that's tapping in. We're going to take a quick about 5-minute commercial break, and then we will be back to talk SmackDown Alley. Ah.
ah,
You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep it.
Poetic beats.
This is now versus then. 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 This is now versus then.
'Cause I don't have much video. I got a couple of stories. The rest will be y'all. The rest will be whatever y'all have to add.
You getting on my nerves. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. Get your titty, get your titty, get your titty on. Gang, gang, bitch. Get your titty, get your titty, get your titty on. I said what I said. No, please don't tell on me. No, please don't tell the police. Gang, gang, you getting on my nerves. She getting on my nerves.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. You got to change your evil ways, baby. Set me free.
You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep it.
All right, and we are back. Saint.
Okay. So let's go on ahead like we usually do with my show. Somebody came in and they were accidentally banned, but I'm not quite sure why it happened, but I don't know what the fuck happened, but it never happened. Anyway, we got Miss Murr coming in. Thank you. Definitely appreciate your appearance. We have the one and only Roxy Hart 82 that gave us the raid. That's what's up. All right. And then We have Rad Rex. Definitely appreciate you tapping in. You already know what time it is. We got the one and only Miss Toy tapping in with lovely, lovely radio show, who is also right here on Twitch, part of First Gen Xers family. And of course, that is on Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. We got Game Time Whoop in the building. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
let's get with the next set of shenanigans because I know we have to definitely unpack about yesterday.
All right. Well,
So
we've got
let's go.
two more segments left, but the first segment that always comes up right out of break, as usual, is Smack Down Alley with Cheap Pop. That's right, me, Saint. We talk a little bit about wrestling, a little bit about fun. And today's topic will be the one and only SummerSlam. Yeah! So, anyway, uh, another
You got
place.
issues, bro.
Another big wrestling event that I was too cheap to be able to afford to go to. Anyway, but SummerSlam was amazing this year. It took place from Cleveland. The Miz wasn't as much a part of it as I thought he was going to be, being that it was in his hometown. But he was the perfect amount of included, including my boy Jelly Roll, who's now one of my favorite artists all time. We'll get to that later. Not because of his music, but because my man is a wrestling fan. Go for it. Anyway, so we opened up with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and the beginning of the descent of the Judgment Day. This match, let's just say it straight up. The match was great. The match was a very well done match, so on and so forth. But the story that was told by the match, by the wrestlers, and by the person standing outside the ring, the young son of Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, it made for a great hot way to open SummerSlam. Suave, your thoughts on the match between Liv Morgan and Rhea
Okay. First of all, Squad's not in the
Ripley? Oh,
building.
sorry, Saint, my bad. S,
Yeah,
my bad.
never mind. Um, it was a decent match. I'll give you that. Dominic, Dominic is always going to be, as far as I am, the comic foil because he's still the mullet and the Eddie Guerrero imitation, trying to look like imitation. To me, that's not working. But we should have known that there was going to be a screw job,
Some
and
Tom fuckery.
yeah, because that was like, yeah, we kind of knew it was going to get set up that way.
Well, I'll give it credit. I'll give it
Yeah,
credit.
just
They did a good job the last couple of weeks on War selling the I don't want to talk to you anymore, and did an even better job of selling it at SummerSlam, only to have I'm sorry. Let me state this from the get go. You can't go wrong with Rhea Ripley or Liv Morgan. I'm sorry, you just can't. Both are sexy goddesses, so like you can't go wrong. But I like them tall. I love Liv Morgan, but I like them tall. And mommy is tall. So I say dumb mistake, Dom Mysterio. You left a steak, you left a filet mignon for a porterhouse. And yeah, yeah. I hope that turns out bad for you. I hope at some point you find yourself with mommy's boot planted firmly in your face. But all right.
Don't
So
threaten him with a good time, okay?
all right. So the next match that followed that was the IC match. That for you dumps out there that constantly bitched about Braun Breaker losing at the last pay per view, this is why he lost at the last pay per view, because they were setting it up for him to have a bigger win at SummerSlam. And he got his win and his IC title as he took the belt from Sami Zayn in dominant fashion.
I just wasn't investing I mean, I'm still kind of growing on to Braun Breaker because I mean, heaven knows he is the nephew of Big Papa Pump
He's
and
the
Scott
son of
Steiner,
Scott.
or is the son of Scott? Okay,
He's
well
the
that's
son of
different.
no. He's the
But
son of what was it?
Scott, but
Scott, yeah,
but
the nephew of
I
the
thought it was Rick.
or
I
Rick. Yeah,
thought it
no,
was
he's the
Rick.
son.
Or
Yeah, the dog-faced gremlin, Rick. Yeah, he's son of Rick,
okay,
and he's the nephew of Scott.
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you're right.
So my thing is that yeah, I'm still gonna see it because I still see shades of Big Papa pumping and like
He learned from both of them.
yeah, but I know, but still, I'll wait. I'll wait. But congratulations to him because I was tired of Sami Zayn with the IC title.
I'm gonna say this:
Yeah.
Braun Breaker is the Randy Orton of this generation, whether people like it or not. And I'm gonna say it like this: Braun Breaker is everything that you would want if you were building a pro wrestler from the ground up. Only thing he needs to work on that Randy had at this age that he doesn't is the promo work. And he'll only get better with time. But other than that, like, don't expect a Steiner Math promo from him anytime soon. Like, that was
Oh
his
no,
uncle, and,
look,
and his uncle was amazing, okay? Uh,
think of Dwayne Johnson
yeah,
and as
yeah.
Rocky Malvia. Hey, you already know that.
So Braun will
Flex
have
Havana.
Braun will have his breakout moment. But right now, I think this was a good win for him, and definitely, like I said, I think that he's going to have a good run. I don't think it's going to be too long, but I think he's going to have a good run with that IC title. Similar to
Hmm.
Gunther's, he's going to dominate big time. They're going to vault him into that world heavy in that main event scene. The next match involved a gentleman who was recently in the main event scene during Roman Reigns' last days, but couldn't take the title off of him. So he decided to go back to a level of people he could stomp into the ground, and one of them being social media star and current U.S. champion Logan Paul, as the man who's running the game. You all know him. Yeah, y'all know
Yeah.
it. And he is our new United States champion despite the debauchery and fuckery of Logan Paul.
Look, he started with no. My thing is that when he broke the car window or the plastic window, then that was it. And he decided that he was gonna go in, beat his ass in like Stone Cold's Steve Austin type of fashion. Yeah,
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 yeah. And went on ahead, took care of business, and got the fuck out.
yep. Walked out with that title. So now, all you people who love LA Knight, he finally had some gold around his waist. Be happy. Because I think his U.S. title run is going to last a minute.
Yeah.
I love how WWE shifts. Normally, for every baby face, for every heel that loses a title, a baby face has to lose a title. And they keep the balance of babyface and heels between the two shows very well. The next match was we saw in the last match, we saw the heel drop the belt to the babyface. So when you got the Queen in the ring with Bailey, babyface Bailey, you knew what was going to happen. It was an interesting match. There was even an almost cash
No,
in by Tiffany Stratton,
yeah,
which would have
no,
been an
no, no.
interesting
See,
take. And we got the
it
winner.
wasn't Tiffy time yet. It wasn't Tiffy time yet.
Uh,
Let me explain. Let
oh,
me just quickly explain this to you real quick. Nia Jax, I love you. Okay, listen,
this over
and I speak on that because that's mm. At any rate, I've been waiting for a long ass time for her to get gold back around her waist.
here. Yeah,
And
very
I
much so.
think that she's gonna hold that shit for a minute because I'm telling you, she was destroyed. Bailey, I'm sorry, I felt real bad for Bailey after them two drops.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Oh yeah, it was a wrap.
Oh yeah.
It was a wrap.
Let me tell you
It
this.
was done. It was done.
The type of work that Nia Jax has done over the past year as a heel has been top notch. Damn near as a year as a heel. It's been top notch. And she completely deserves this moment. I don't care what anybody thinks of her. I don't care what anybody thinks of her past. Yes, she's hurt wrestlers in the past. And she has been sloppy and reckless. And they've even addressed it on WWE TV. But in general, Nia Jax earned everything about this run, and I can't wait to see what she's going to do as the queen of the ring
Exactamundo.
and the new women's WWE Women's Champion. The next match was about two dudes beating the out of each other. I know what all of y'all are saying. Isn't that what most wrestling matches are about? Two dudes beating or two women beating? But no, this was literally about two dudes just beating out of each other. One's name was Drew McIntyre. The other's name was CM Punk. And then you throw in the volatile, strangely dressed, over-the-top Seth Rollins, and you've got a match for the ages. And that's exactly what we got, as Drew McIntyre managed to get the 1-2-3 on CM Punk. Partially thanks to Seth Rollins. Your thoughts on the match, sir?
We knew, well, somebody should have discovered that Seth Rollins, when he got the little, we knew that was going to piss him off. So my thing is, next match, going to be a triple threat. CM Punk, he's going to pull off somebody, because somebody's going to get hurt, their feelings hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved the last night. He was,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was waiting for that.
Like I said, it was a great match. It was great storytelling by all three gentlemen involved. I'm glad McIntyre got the win. I agreed with those people that were just like, okay, we're kind of tired of seeing McIntyre get screwed over and over and over again. It's time for him to get a W, and he got one. So maybe now we can go on to what I think is going to be one of the main events of Survivor Series, which is McIntyre versus Gunther. Which brings me into the next match, which is Gunther taking on Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title. Now, me personally, like I said, I saw it from the moment 1-1 King of the Ring and 1-1 Queen of the Ring. Those are your new champs. Expect that pattern to repeat in years to come, with the King and the Queen of the Ring winning, and then them getting their match at SummerSlam and winning the title. So Gunther defeats Damian Priest. Now, what's sad about this is this should be an amazing day. The Imperium era has begun on Monday Night Raw, with Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship. But what are we going to be talking about? What are we going to be talking about right now? The fact that Finn fucking Balor betrayed Damian Priest to help Gunther.
We knew that was coming.
And
We knew that was coming.
And Damian Priest became the smartest babyface to ever step into a WWE ring. My nigga watched the replay to see why he didn't get the 3. And spent the rest of the match trying to get his hands around Finn Balor's neck. It was a great match. It gave me the ending that I wanted. I saw it coming, but I didn't think they were going to do it in such an obvious way. I'm glad they did it that way. I can't wait to see the match between Finn Balor and Damian Priest before he goes back after Gunther and a title. Your thoughts, sir?
Make it so. Make it so. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we need to see this. We need to see Priest. We need to see Finn Balor. Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting for that shit right there. Trust the facts. Trust the facts.
For sure. Folks, I have bad news. Just heard from my co-host for the classroom. Unfortunately, we're going to have to be canceling for this evening. So there'll be no classroom this week. We'll be back on next week. We'll have plenty to talk about with the Olympics. Closing out this week in America's performance. Lots to talk about. So you'll be able to join myself and O'Malley next Sunday on the 11th at 6 p.m. for the classroom.
And with that bit, can I just pitch that we Americans don't deserve Snoop and Flav?
Yeah, we can get to them. Hold on, we got one more match with SummerSlam. All right,
Okay,
last match that took place kind of had the biggest moments, always does. Main event: Cody Rhodes taking on Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline Rules match. For some random reason, like it was just funny. Like Cody brought it up, and Solo Sikoa was like, "Yeah, let's do it again this time." So of course we knew the Bloodline was going to interfere. Blah 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 blah. The one that most expected but didn't expect was the return of the one original tribal chief, which, by the way, by the 13th of this month, mine will be in the mail and on my way to me. But I will own an OTC shirt. I have to. Sorry. Anyway, and also they designed they released 1,300 of a Roman Reigns special Universal Championship belt, and it sold out in an hour. Anyway, the man himself is back. Roman Reigns stepped out from behind the curtain and blew the roof off of a stadium that does not have a roof. And everybody went wild only to watch him come in and show Solo Sikoa, bro, you can call yourself the tribal chief, but there's only one. And he's back. Saint, your thoughts on the main event of
My thoughts? Seriously, come on, man. That was the moment right there when the music jumped off. When that music jumped off,
SummerSlam? It was,
whoa,
oh yeah.
whoa. And that was it. And then I already knew he was getting ready to come in through it. But when he got in there and he just slid in there, hit the spear, boom, 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 boom.
Wada bam bam. Thank you,
That
man.
was it.
That
Good
was it.
night, motherfucker. That was it. It was over. Case point. And I can't wait until SmackDown next week because I know there may be a little bit of of Raw, coming back, but and of course, the Gunther
That's
era
it.
is coming, but
Judgment,
I just can't wait for SmackDown to come back because what are we going to talk about?
yeah. Well, I will say this, my dear people. Only bad news that came out of SummerSlam is we may have an injury, a non storyline injury to Jacob Fatu. That may have happened during that match, which would be a huge disappointment because he has been amazing ever since he stepped foot in the WWE ring and debuted as the Samoan
Yes.
Werewolf as a part of the bloodline. So please don't let him be hurt for a long time. If you are hurt, please heal fast. We can't wait to see what you can do. All right,
Yeah.
so that'll close us out for SummerSlam. Let's see. Dave, we'll open up video games with what you were just talking about, and then we'll go on to
Okay.
what we were talking about before. But hold on. As usual, we can't have a segment without showing a little.
Going for the bumper.
And we are back. Hey, hey, hey. You may have been able to see my mouth moving, but not be able to hear me. That's okay. You're not going insane. I just forgot to take my mic off of mute again. Anyway, well, say, Dave, you got a couple of stories for us in today's
Okay.
video game corner.
So this one covers all. The first one covers all of it.
Okay.
And as you guys listen and have tuned in to me, know I am a huge Warhammer 40K nerd.
Yes.
I am all in for Space Marine 2 next month with the it is already just now said it went gold. So, but some of you may know that Henry Cavill, Superman, Geralt of Rivia, he got fed up with the production on The Witcher and dropped out of that production. And he engaged in his passion project, which was bringing Warhammer 40K to the small screen as a live action series. There's not much details on that yet. And it's just announced that there may be a slight hiccup. I'm not panicking,
Yeah.
but the development deal that is still in discussion between Games Workshop and Amazon Studios to do this. The discussion, the rights end at the end of this year. December 31st, 2024, the initial agreement becomes null and void. And what's causing the holdup is that there is not an agreement yet between Amazon Studios and with Games Workshop as to content. In other words, what they're going to be able to show, what they're not going to want to show,
All of that, yeah, those details still gotta be.
is still being negotiated right now in there. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's not great. I'm not panicking yet though. Okay,
That's just the
because
development cycle of series.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like me and our boy Jamil, we had a phone call yesterday. With each other, and we started talking about Blade at Marvel. And one of the reasons why everyone's panicking is because Kevin Feige pulled the trigger too soon on the announcement of Blade. Usually, Marvel Productions, they make the announcement when everything's all squared away and going,
Right.
and production is literally already begun. Okay. Feige announced this back in what, 2013, the
I'd
Blade?
say a while ago. Yeah.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So all the stuff had not been hammered out yet. But all we're just seeing the development process in real time.
Yeah.
Nothing in the MCU came together like that after the announcement.
Oh my goodness.
So
Feige.
yeah. So again, we'll see what the end of the year holds for Warhammer 40K and Amazon. I'm still hopeful. I'm still fine. There's just too much money on the table
Yeah.
for both Games Workshop and Amazon to not come to some sort of an accommodation.
Yeah. Very much so. Saint, any thoughts on this?
Not really. I mean, I'm gonna just say this when it comes to Marvel, if when it happens, if it happens, okay, I haven't really invested too much into it because to me, phase four and phase five are such a headache in so many ways, and it's like I just can't wait to for this part of it to be over with so we can start getting back into the making of good Marvel movies, okay? No
Mhm.
narratives. We just want good storyline, no politics, no bullshit. Let's just
Here's the thing
get
about it.
back to where it was.
Now I'm gonna call. I'm
Well,
gonna
it'll
call.
it'll
Hold on.
never be no. It'll never be back to where exactly where it was, but
No,
I
no.
mean,
I'm
I
calling
want I
bullshit on
want I
this.
want a good story.
I'm calling bullshit on this. You have been
On
one of the
what?
many people, sir, that has said to me, comics have always been political. So to ask for politics
No,
to be
but no.
taken out of something
Wait,
that,
wait,
that
wait,
has
wait, wait,
always
wait, wait,
included
wait, wait, wait.
politics,
Okay,
like,
but see, hold on. Now, I understand. Let's be frank. Okay. I'm not saying that comics aren't political. I mean, that's exactly what it's gonna be. But what I'm saying is that there's a political point, and then when you start running certain political points into the ground, then yeah, that's kind of like where
okay,
that's kind of like where I draw the line.
all right, and
Because
here's
I mean, a superhero like it's not like you can't say that like let's say for example, Captain America was created beyond behind politics.
yeah,
World War II, fighting the Nazis, boom, boom, boom. That is exactly where that comes from.
right.
But now when you start injecting other shit besides the regular narrative,
But
that's
I don't know. Like I will say this: that's a point that we part ways on, and then the other part is that there have been multiple good movies during Phase 4 and Phase 5. There's been multiple amazing movies. I think what everybody's issue has been, and I don't know if it's yours, but to me, what I've seen what everybody's issue is. Everybody's expecting every Marvel movie, and I addressed this in the last episode. Everybody's expecting every Marvel movie to be like Endgame or to give them that same feeling,
Oh
not
no.
realizing that Endgame was made to be what it was. It was made to be a special moment in Marvel time. You're back down to the nitty gritty base storytelling of building up to another
Okay.
Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War type movie.
Okay.
And
Now,
so
now check this out. Now, I will
again,
say
I
this.
have to disagree that there have been any truly bad movies or TV shows in Phase 4 and Phase 5. There's been certain things that I haven't liked, but again, I go back to what the original point that I always make. Was I the target audience for those products that I didn't like? And the answer almost always is no. And so if I'm not the target audience, like me not liking it doesn't mean it was a bad product. It just means that I wasn't the target audience, so I wasn't who it was meant for. But at the end of the day, ultimately, I have to disagree in saying that Marvel has been shit in Phase 4 and Phase 5. You may not agree with it, but I think they put out great products in Phase 4 and Phase 5.
Okay. Well, look, I'm not gonna say that everything was completely out of whack with phase four and phase five, but like one of the things that I will tell you is I love Black Panther.
Yeah,
Okay, the Black Panther movie. Okay,
yeah,
I was pushing, especially pushing for, especially where the story started.
yeah,
Especially with Oakland, but it was just something like the the death of T'Challa
yeah.
to me was it wasn't something was just it just wasn't it just wasn't right there for me.
Fair
I don't
enough.
know, maybe I was feeling a little different, but you know
Well,
when you create, when you're doing these stories, especially because especially
mm,
as a writer, I kind of look at like if you're looking at
well,
certain storylines like this and certain storylines like that, then you're like, okay,
but then as a writer, you
mm,
got to understand exactly how hard it is to pivot when you already are a fourth of the way into the story or a third of the way into the story. Black Panther was telling a specific story that Wakanda Forever was supposed to continue, and then Chadwick Boseman dies. Like it left them in a position where they had to pivot and they had to make a sudden pivot. And I think it did diminish the quality of what we would have gotten had Chadwick Boseman still been alive to be able to play T'Challa with the second movie. I think we got a
Yeah.
completely, I won't say utterly different movie. I think we got a different movie than what we would have gotten had Chadwick Boseman
Yeah.
survived. Was it a bad
I
movie? Not in my opinion, but I think we got a different movie. Go on, Dave.
yeah, I completely agree with you here. Um, I think that the problem is that Kevin Feige was doing a fantastic juggling act with the MCU. He was keeping everything going just fine. And then there were multiple disruptions that happened at the same time. Not just Chadwick Boseman dying way too soon.
Yeah,
Okay, we had the James Gunn drama of, you know, James Gunn getting slammed for 10-year-old tweets that he made.
yeah,
Okay, and basically getting fired and rehired by Marvel. Okay, we had the whole fallout with Jonathan Majors. Okay, and I agree that I think there's all sorts of layers to the Jonathan Majors thing,
oh God.
all sorts of, no doubt, no doubt about it. But it happened
Yeah,
at the same time that all this other stuff was happening. Then pile on top the fact that there was also a bunch of self-professed fans who were complaining about the MCU, about um, about Brie Larson
yeah,
being told to smile more after she responded to a completely idiotic question that no male actor has ever had to offer. And yet, when Harrison Ford gets asked, so who's better with snakes, Indy or Thunderbolt Ross? Oh, well, his response is just adoringly curmudgeon. He doesn't need to smile more. It's
Yeah,
that double standard in there. Complaining um, about Miss Marvel.
yeah, Miss Marvel
You
in
know,
general. That one always gets me.
okay, complaining about She-Hulk for calling out toxic fanboy culture
Yeah,
that exists, for addressing that Galactica-sized elephant in the room, taking it head on.
yeah,
She held up a mirror to the fandom, and the fandom didn't like what they saw. And they used the most stupid arguments against She-Hulk. Oh, it's just too jokey. It's too meta. It's too fourth wall breaking. My good bitch. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall all the time.
yeah,
And She-Hulk did it first.
yeah. She-Hulk have been doing it for a
That
while before Deadpool.
that entire end sequence where she's swinging through the Disney Plus menu screen, show to show, to go talk to Kevin Feige, is taken directly from the comics, where she's ripping through the gutters, which are the spaces in between the panels.
Yeah,
She's ripping through the gutters, going through printed ads to get to John Byrne to complain about yet another cheesecake cover that he's done of her. Okay? It is literally the most comic accurate thing the MCU has done yet.
it's yeah,
And
yeah. I don't. You're going.
people couldn't stand looking into the mirror because
Now I know that that's not the reason why Saint like he's talking about like
I know
actual.
I'm not.
Yeah, no,
I
I know,
ain't
I'm
calling
not
out.
saying
I
that
ain't
you are.
calling out
I'm
Saint.
just stating
Yeah.
for our audience. Like that's not. We're not trying to say that that's what he's saying. We're not for those of you who listen and saying, but that's not what he. We're not trying to say that that's what he said. Well, what
Right.
we're just addressing is the fact that again, I have a p I have a t- I have this issue right now with social media world and how often we use the word trash instead of just saying we didn't like something. Like there's a lot of people that make the absolute statement that the MCU in Phase 4 and Phase 5 has been trash, and it hasn't. There's been a lot of great things that have come out of Phase 4 and Phase 5. WandaVision, we're about to get Agatha
Shang-Chi.
all along. We're, you know what I'm saying, like Secret Wars, the show, I think was it Secret Wars? Yeah, with Sam Jackson. Like that was good 6 episode
You mean
stories.
Armor Wars?
Armor Wars, yeah. No,
No, Armor Wars
Or
hasn't
no, no,
happened
no.
no,
yet.
I'm
Armor
sorry.
Wars is the Avengers movie.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Secret
Yeah,
Invasion, yeah.
like that was a good little again. I'm not saying this is the best work, but this is not trash.
Yeah.
Like it's nowhere near trash. It's good storytelling. It's yeah, it changes some things from the comics, but I think that there's one thing that's always missed when something gets translated from comics to whatchamacallit, and that is that it is almost, and I'm not going to say completely, it is almost impossible to do a frame for frame remake of a comic book. You may be able to get certain key scenes into the movie, but it's almost impossible to go frame from page 1 to page 30 and do the exact same story. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't translate from animated or from hand drawn pictures to live action. So now I'm not, again, this is not what I'm saying either one of these gentlemen are doing, but for those of you who are expecting specifically comic accurate stuff, understand there's always going to be little tweaks and differences because the two mediums are so different that you can't literally do a frame for frame remake. But Dave, go ahead.
Unless you're Zack Snyder disguising Dark Knight Returns as Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
True, true. But but all right. But yeah, so
You know I'm right there, Saint.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know I'm spitting truth there.
No, listen. I have no arguments or anything to to that fact. Listen, snack, I'm about to say snack, but Zack Snyder, I mean,
Snack Snyder.
don't get me wrong. Watchmen was a great
Yes.
fucking movie. Superman, Superman kills in that movie.
Yeah. Man of Steel.
I found something wrong with that because Superman, even if he had no choice, he doesn't kill.
Right.
Um, Point of order on that, but we'll,
No, but we're talking about the new
yeah,
52 Superman also too. So
but also, I Superman killing Zod is the least thing I had with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, post-Crisis, we got a Superman story where he goes into an alternate universe and sees Earth dominated by Zod,
yeah, and he
and he
killed
pulls out
and
the
he killed
kryptonite,
he
and
killed the other Kryptonians. Yeah.
he feels absolute remorse about it. He had no other choice to do it. But Snyder is not subtle about stuff. That's why he's able to do Frank Miller adaptations very well. But the same idea, the same concepts don't apply to Superman or Wonder Woman or Shazam or any of the DC Universe characters besides Batman. And that's the biggest problem. Trying to make Superman into using Batman rules.
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
For sure.
and that's the problem. I mean, we want to talk about differences. Okay, Avengers, Battle of New York. We see Captain America going out of his way, putting his life on the line to save people in there. We see New York getting destroyed. Man of Steel, Battle of Metropolis. We got that gravity pulse lifting up random objects, including a body, and slamming it back down. We see people dying everywhere in the background of Man of Steel. The
Okay.
only time we see Superman making a concerted effort to intervene and save someone is for Lois Lane. That's the only time he expends actual effort beyond the general plan of stopping the Kryptonian colony ships. That's the only time Superman gets personal. Even Superman Returns, we've got scenes of Brandon Ruth taking the time to save people from being bystander casualties. None of that happens in the Snyderverse.
Yeah, because I just thought about that. I just, I had to finally go back into the way back machine
Yeah.
and try to figure out one thought about, and you know what, Dave? I gotta give it to you. You are accurate, sir.
For sure.
Okay. And that's not even getting into the color palette. Okay. Look at again Avengers Battle of New York. Bright, unfiltered, full color.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, Battle of New York, or Battle of Metropolis, shot through the blue filter to deliberately engage the depressed emotional state in the human mind. That's what the blue filter is there for. It conveys, it's an artificial conveyance of sadness, of loss, of tragedy. Look up folks out on the internet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up blue filter, orange filter in movies, and it'll explain the entire thing of why you feel sad when certain colors are predominant in a film, why you feel warm and happy when certain colors are predominantly happy. It's because our brains are wired to respond to those colors
Yeah,
in that way.
for sure.
And it's a
Then that
cheap,
explains. Then I do believe that that may be one of the explanations on why Matrix was green.
There you go.
yep.
They were trying to
But
make
So
you
yeah,
feel.
I
um,
get that.
yeah, but it's my point is that it's a cheap filmmaking stunt to substitute for writing, character development, and acting.
Okay, fair enough.
Stuff that good films rely on to get those emotions across.
Fair enough.
It's not,
All
they don't take the shortcut. But anyway, okay, that's it. Yeah, I've
right.
gone on way too
All right,
long.
y'all. So we'll close out with that amazing talk. Hope you guys have enjoyed us all this time, these last 2 hours that we've brought to you multiple different angles on multiple different pop culture phenomenon. And we close, as always, with where can we find you next? Saint, going ahead and kick us off.
Well, considering that um considering that the classroom is not going to be up on tonight, which means I am going to change the time for tonight. The show will be starting at 9:45, probably a little bit earlier, depends on if we can get everything right with NBT Deuce. We're just gonna vibe to, whatever we do. You
There
know
you
what
go.
I'm saying? And, making it happen. But yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna be up for it. At least it'll be a little earlier tonight though, huh?
All right. And Dave, where can we find you next, Mr. Rune Scryer?
I will definitely be on tonight, midnight till whenever I fall asleep on the night shift.
There you go. There you go. And for me, well,
Okay.
you saw me this morning on FC24 and NHL. You saw me here on Cheap Pop. Like Saint said, unfortunately, we will be canceling the classroom for this evening. We will be back next week. We have my co-host is doing some important work, and she needs to handle her business. So we will be back next week on the 11th to talk about the Olympics, etc. You can find me next playing some video games with Mad Mondays right here on First GenXers Twitch TV. And other than that, y'all, that'll do it for us this week. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening. I want to thank you for joining us. Saint, you're going to rate us out.
Yeah, we are going to do just that. Hold on. Let me get it right.
All right.
Let me get it right. And let's see. Hold on. Okay. This is the craziest part of getting this done. But
Let me know when it is done, sir.
okay, I will make that happen. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start it off.
There you go.